Hey there, it's your girl Yolanda Yogan-Wiston, and welcome to another episode of NALCOM Member Spotlight. I am so excited to introduce, or I'm gonna let my next guest introduce themselves because you guys just aren't ready for the amazing things that she has going on. So I will let her go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Kristin Milam with Rosenblum Realty. We're a local agency here in Huntsville, over 65 years of experience, work for a great broker here in Huntsville, and looking forward to this membership spotlight, tell you a little more about myself.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna pick up on where I like to just piggyback off of what people say. So Rosenblum is a staple in the Huntsville community, like
the OG.
Yes, the OG. That was one of the first names besides, the big billboards.
Sure.
That was one of the first names that I saw.
Yeah.
So how is it working for a firm that has been around for so long?
It's great, so they're a fourth generation company. Carrie's grandfather started the company, and
I just love that.
Yeah, I know, and there's a lot of history to that too. His grandfather worked at Lincolnville, and so it's really interesting, and heard the need for real estate here in Huntsville, had friends asking, where do I buy a house, different things, and so he started Rosenblum Realty. And so, we're in our 66th year, and it's a pleasure working for them. They're such a great family to work for. Hands down, I'll just be honest, I didn't interview with anybody else. They're great.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, Dave Knowles, if anybody knows Dave Knowles, he recruited me to the agency, and it's been great. I've loved it.
I have met Dave. We were in a networking group together, and if you guys know anything about me, I am a little bit of a class clown. And so just hint, nudge, nudge, David fit right in. So if you want to have a good time and some laughs,
he's a sweet man.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about your niche. What do you specialize in?
Yeah, so I primarily come from the multifamily industry. I spent 15 years managing properties from the ground up, lease ups, builds, new builds. I've done affordable housing, everything. So really just multifamily background, have been on both the on-site level and the corporate level. So I was a regional manager for many years. I've worked in Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, had some pretty big territories, lots of traveling.
That is
lots
so
of traveling. But so for my investors, it's good for them to have somebody who's been on that side, that knows how the properties function and what needs to be done to sell the properties or list the properties. So,
right. That's been one of the most amazing things for me, is to see how we are transferring our skills from sometimes the same industry, sometimes a different industry, and just understanding how that makes you stand out as an agent. So that was one of the questions that I had is, what makes you different? What makes you stand out from working with any other agent?
Definitely. So besides being in the industry for 15 years, I've had, obviously different roles, not just regional manager, but also have been on the site level. I also worked for Google, which was pretty cool. I'm sure some of you heard of that company.
Right. She's worked for some amazing, that's why I say she's done some amazing things.
Yeah. So Google was really cool. I worked in their real estate partnerships development to bring Google Fiber to Huntsville, to multifamily specifically, not single family. So getting, like apartments you see behind us there, the Foundry, bringing Google Fiber to different apartments in Huntsville and building those relationships with investors and owners. That really helped me grow, I guess, in the multifamily industry, to really know more of the investor ownership groups. And then prior to that, I was with a company called Thompson Thrift, which was a huge developer in the United States. They built a lot of luxury builds. They built a lot of multi-use, mixed-use type, almost similar to here where we are. We're at Merritt Bank today. Which is the beach company developed this beautiful property. So I think all those experiences do tie in to the commercial real estate realm. I think it makes you well-rounded for your investors, knowing a lot of different things about all the different industries.
So do you only service the Huntsville area? You mentioned that you've worked in different areas. So are you thinking about, or are you currently or thinking about extending into those areas?
Yeah, so really I'm open to the whole state of Alabama. I'm not afraid of traveling. I've got family in Florida, so it's always nice to make a trip down to Florida, and if I need to go to Mobile or something like that. Huntsville is definitely my specialty. I know more about Rocket City, but any outlying areas, you've got Madison, Athens, Coleman. There's a lot of different areas that are growing because of Huntsville's obviously very rapid growth. So I think, I'm open to talking to investors and helping them no matter where in Alabama.
Right.
So, yeah.
So this is where my little need to connect people comes in, because I swear I'm just dying to know. Are you and Philip Connect? And I interviewed Philip.
So I do know Philip very well. Yeah. So Philip and I actually met through the apartment association.
Okay.
So we have the North Alabama Apartment Association. He used to sell signage and stuff for properties and do marketing and things like that. So him and I were connected through the apartment association. I do sit on the board for them. And so him and I connected through that, and Philip's great. He's such a cool guy. It was very interesting listening to his member spotlight. I think anytime you get to know people a little bit better and see, how they'll fit as far as working with each other, that's great. So, yeah.
All right, cool. So you mentioned you have family in Florida, or are you from Florida?
I am. I'm originally from Miami.
Shucks.
Yes, Viva la Miami. Love it down there. Obviously, lived there for a good part of my life, and I spent 30 years in Florida actually, and had a regional job down there, and it property sale. So had a portfolio that wasn't performing so well, and took it to the next level. Got it cash flowing in the black, very good. Owner saw a great opportunity to sell those properties. It was a pretty large portfolio, and ended up making a really good profit off of it, and that led me to Alabama. So you never know where your path is going to take you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, you start making people money. you tend to become an asset.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any hobbies?
I do. So I am big on animals. So if you don't know me, you'll find that out pretty quickly. I can't even really count the number of animals I have at this point. I think that when you lose track, you have too many.
So I'm assuming they don't all have names.
No, they don't. Well, the horses do, the dogs do, but the chickens, we're slowly like naming them. I'm starting to name them after like musical talent. So we got Tina Turner and Dolly Parton. We've got a lot of cool names.
I've heard chickens have a lot of personality,
They do.
a lot of attitude.
They do. So we've got chickens and ducks, and it's been interesting. And my son, this spring, we've had quite a few little chicklings hatch, and next year we'll have ducklings. But he's selling them. He's become a little entrepreneur. So just passing it on down the line.
There you go. So I know we usually do plug, but can you give people information on how they can follow you and see all about, the adventures of, I'm calling it a farm. I don't know if it's a farm, but for me, anyone that has horse, on a farm.
So we've got 8 horses and all kinds, dogs, cats, the whole thing. But if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram at Kristin Milam Realtor. I am also on LinkedIn. And I do post some of my son's entrepreneurial stuff on there, which is fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's funny though, when I go out into the world of Huntsville, it's amazing how much feedback I get. You would think people would be interested in real estate. They want to know, what are the animals doing? I love watching your videos. We recorded all the hatchings that happened the last month, so that was, a lot of folks have been following that. I love it though. It's part of who I am, and always will be. I've always been a huge animal enthusiast. I've volunteered at horse rescues and have saved a couple horses along the way, and have many friends that do the same. And
I bet that's interesting.
I love it. It's very rewarding. Yeah.
So, okay, how we bridge farm in Miami? I'm from St. Louis, the city.
So it's actually an interesting question. So I did grow up in Miami, and that's concrete jungle down there. So yeah, there's no horses unless they're police horses. But so my grandpa owned 10 acres in a place called Arcadia, Florida.
Okay.
And so I would go there every summer, and there was a horse farm just down the way. And then he used to take me he knew a lot of farmers. And so he would house cattle and horses and all kinds of things. He had some Mustangs, things like that for rodeo. We'd go to the rodeo every summer. So just really got into the livestock scene. And I've always loved the look of beautiful country property.
Okay.
So for me, that really was my first taste of the animals, and obviously my dad being his dad, always had animals around. So that's really how I got into that. And growing up in Miami, I was never able to own horses. So
Okay, where are you gonna put it?
I told myself as soon as I had my first opportunity to own one, I would. And so when I started in my career and was able to do that, I bought my first horse, which was very rewarding.
That is so cool. I love horses. I'm not really sure where and why and how, but I do. So yeah, I've already kind of asked her if I can come out to the barn and see the animals.
You want to come see all of them? And follow me on social media.
Oh my goodness, I feel bad. This video should have been at the farm. Okay,
maybe the next one in a few years we'll do it at the farm.
Her member spotlight will be at the farm.
There you
Okay.
go.
So we've already, you covered this topic already, but I want to circle back just in case we missed something. What company or organization did you last work for? Was that Google?
Yeah, so Google was my job prior to Rosenblum. And then before that was Thompson Thrift. Watermark, if you guys are familiar with Watermark at Bridge Street, that was a lease up that opened in 2019. Managed that one from the ground up and leased it up in record time, under a year during COVID.
See?
Yep.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Hit the ground running, network, just gotta get everybody to know what you're doing. So I think that was a huge learning experience for me, doing a lease up, and obviously we've got lots of those going on in Huntsville right now. So I think going through that process as a realtor helps when you have somebody buying a property, understanding where the property needs to get to, what kind of cap rate the property has, all these things that go into a investor due diligence, right? Like just understanding how this property is functioning. I can help with that. I've built budgets with these companies, so just understanding all of that, I think, talking about the past jobs, it just all comes together, right?
Yeah.
To help my clients.
Yeah. Now you said something, and I want to double back on that because a lot of people think agents just show properties, but in commercial real estate, we do way more than that. We are able to come in and help you actually understand your business,
Absolutely.
How to improve it, how to get it up to a point where it is going to be more profitable.
Right.
That we can sell it a little bit more to the next buyer. A profitable business is worth way more than a dead business.
Absolutely.
And so we're able, and we have those skills that we've pulled from previous careers, or even, in the specialties that we're learning now, we go to different classes to learn how to help people figure out these numbers. It's not just about selling a piece of real estate. It is about the numbers.
It is.
So you mentioned, because there's a little bit confusion when it comes to realtors, a realtor, an agent, a broker, an advisor. Are you also on the residential side of it?
Yeah, so on the residential side, so Carrie, so Rosenblum has a very big property management side, mostly residential. We also do commercial. But I help them with South Huntsville. So because I've got such a background in leasing, he asked me to step in and manage South Huntsville, which has given me kind of a niche market in Huntsville to really understand. And I originally lived in South Huntsville when I came here. Now I'm in Newmarket. There's no horses in South Huntsville.
There's no room for horses.
Kind of like South Miami. So yeah, I do that, and a lot of that has really helped me to understand investors. We have a lot of investors that have not only bought single family homes as an investment, but have also turned into multifamily. And so we teach, we do a seminar called Wake Up Money. And we've had it twice now this year and last year. And so we teach investors not just how to purchase single family homes, but how to purchase, multifamily, or if they want to do commercial investments. You get longer term leases in commercial. So sometimes it's more of a long-term wise investment, right? But you see a lot of those investors go from single family and want to merge into a bigger commercial.
Start off slow and steady.
Exactly. Start somewhere. That's what I always say. Absolutely.
I bet that's rewarding to see them grow.
It is. It really gets me excited when I have a friend or a client that they started their business and I've seen it grow. I've got several friends that have started businesses 5-10 years ago since I came here, that to watch their companies grow. And like, very good example, I've got a really good friend. He owns a carpet cleaning company. He the building that they were in was being demolished, so he had to find something very quickly, and so reached out and found him something in a couple weeks, and now he'll probably be looking to expand again. So it's great to see that, though, when you help a client and you see their business grow. it's just really satisfying. You know, it's rewarding.
Yeah. So we kind of hit on this a little bit, but I want the people to know what makes you different and why they should work with you.
Yeah, so I think kind of like what she touched on as far as being, you know, well-rounded and having a lot of experience in my prior years of work, all that's come together for me to have a lot of experience in different areas. So the property management side, the real estate side, working for Google, being very techie, as they put me in a little...
I laugh because we had a side conversation.
Yeah. I didn't know I was a techie, but apparently I am. So a Googler. And I'll go on the outtakes, y'all.
Right, that is cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So why should they work with you? Because you're well-rounded.
Yeah, so I think, you know, I think when you work with a realtor, it's not just about, okay, find me a property and that's it. I think, you know, personality-wise, you have to click. I think, you know, I do a lot of consulting too, like she was talking about business growing, giving ideas to owners maybe that I didn't think about, thinking outside the box, knowing what area they need to be in. You know, I know the city very well, just because I've driven so much and been all over the place. Now there are a lot of apartments that are new that, man, you drive by and you're like,
I just drove by here last week.
I used to know all of them. Now I'm starting, there's so many, right? Like, which is great. We're growing as a city. So I think having an agent that really knows Huntsville and knows the market and understands all the different aspects, single family, multifamily, commercial, just understanding the whole landscape. Because as we know, commercial, you know, we have to have roofs to bring commercial. So I think understanding that market and understanding economically how the city is doing and being very involved in the city, kind of give a couple plugs on what I do outside of real estate. I volunteer at the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber. I'm the lead ambassador there. And I've been doing that for quite a while, probably since I came to Huntsville. And then the Apartment Association in North Alabama, I sit on the board there. And then obviously NALCOM that we're here today, I also sit on the board with them. So I think getting involved is really important. And I think when you have a client that sees you're giving back to the community and you're well-rounded in the community, I think that's probably what sets me apart from a lot of individuals as opposed to just, let me find you a property, right? So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's one of the big things about NALCOM members is that we are very active.
Yes.
And we understand the importance of knowing the city and what's going on with the city and building those relationships so that you can understand how they impact your client.
Absolutely. And I think too, like, you know, clients for me aren't just a one and done, here's your property. You know, this is a lifelong, to me, relationship. I mean, I've built friendships, like I said, 5-10 years ago here that are very good friends of mine still and clients now. And I expect my clients to be my friends. Is that bad to say? I mean,
I do too. I'm the same way. It's all about relationships.
I like to work with people that like me. Okay.
Yes, and it's not just about the transaction.
Yeah,
You're really
absolutely.
there for one another, and you have their
it makes
best
it an
interest.
easier process. I think to be able to get along and be able to enjoy. Like, I love going and showing properties and having fun, right? Like, not just like, oh, it's 4 walls. This is great. No, like knowing the space, doing the research, knowing what you're talking about. Knowing what your client needs, you know, and maybe sometimes they don't know what they need.
I'm glad you said that,
Yeah. I've had quite a few clients, you know, say, oh, I only need this much space. I'm like, well, you're signing a 5-year lease. Are you sure you're not going to grow? You know, I mean, let's think about ahead, you know. And I'm being optimistic, so should you.
right. Your business is going to grow.
It is.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
absolutely.
Yeah. Having that champion behind you.
Yes.
They're behind you and you're behind them.
Exactly.
Wanting them to succeed.
Exactly.
Everybody succeeding together.
Yes.
So you hit on something. There are several key topics that commercial agents in Huntsville get asked all the time.
Oh, yes.
And one of them you hit on, and that is the growth of our multi-family market. What is your take on why we're seeing so much growth in the multifamily?
Yeah, so I think it's a testament to our community, for one. I think, first of all, when I moved here, it's a very clean city. It's a beautiful city. It's very attractive. So I originally was in Decatur.
Okay.
And when I came here, I didn't know anything about Huntsville. And like I said, I've been here about 10 years. But when I came here and saw the city, it kind of hits you like, why are there not more people here, right? Well, we've been making all the top 10 lists, and not just top 10, number one on many, many things. So you've got all these folks, and a lot of this is across social media, it's in the news, it's in the media, it's everywhere. So you've got all these folks coming here, and massive, massive growth. I think Tommy Battle said about 5,000 people a year are coming here now. So you have to have somewhere for all these folks to live, and there's not enough single family. So, the builders are trying to keep up with the demand, and you have, houses that are here going up for sale, but the inventory has remained low compared to statistical, right?
Yes.
So, I think just the multifamily saw the opportunity, and obviously the city issued the permits for those, knowing we have all these folks coming.
Right.
And I don't see Huntsville slowing down anytime soon. I'm part of a lot of like economic forums and the chamber, so like insider information. We're just moving up. I mean, it's like a rocket, like we're taking off. You know what
I know, right?
I don't know how else to put it other than Huntsville's on fire.
It is.
In a good way.
Right, I know, right? So, first of all, did you know that we have a theme song now?
Yes, I watched it the other night. I'll be posting on social media this weekend.
Like, you guys.
Yeah, it's like moving on up, like.
We are the tech capital of the South.
Yes, I know. I love that terminology. I was like, that's great. I love it.
Yeah, so I
leave it to songwriters to come up with the coolest lyrics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a little corny. The rhythm and the melody is amazing, but the words, the lyrics, set you on fire. Because I swear, I was like, yes, that's us. So it is so exciting being a part of a city that is growing so much.
It's amazing to watch. And I mean, like I said, I've been here 10 years, and I know the growth I've seen in that time, and I can't imagine the folks that, I hear it all the time, people that live there talking about riding their bike up the parkway. I'm like, okay, well, when it was 2 lanes, I can't even imagine. Okay, I came from Miami. That's not something I could picture. So
I live on the South, and I still see people walk across the Parkway, and I'm just amazed. In St. Louis, you could never do that. It would almost be
risk
like
takers there.
St. Louis is crazy. Let's not get into that.
That's a cool city too.
So what is your why? Why commercial real estate?
So my why, I think family is everything, and my son really looks up to the real estate. He spends a lot of time with me, and I call him my little realtor in training. But he does ride-alongs with me when he's out of school and stuff, and so he's definitely my why. Commercial real estate itself. So when I was a kid, I remember my parents, we were in a house in Miami, and then they wanted to move to a different house. And so they drove me around, and just always had a fascination with real estate from a very young age. I'm talking like when I can start talking, like house, investment. Just came naturally, guys. But I've always loved architecture. So that's probably what my miscalling was with being an architect. I love art and architecture, and I like math, so it kind of all goes together, but like this building we're at, Merritt Bank, it's a beautiful building. I love the architecture. So being in Miami, got to see a lot of high rises, a lot of cool buildings. One fun fact, before I came to Huntsville, I was interviewing for a job across from Miami Marlins Stadium, if you're familiar with Miami Marlins. It was a high rise down in Miami. So I like the commercial industry. I think it's, obviously houses are beautiful, we all have to live somewhere, but we also have to work somewhere. So being able to come to work and come to a beautiful building, why not, right?
Right, yeah.
But I love commercial real estate just because it's such a, you learn something new every day. And I think for that's, I love growing, I love learning, and going back to my why, just passing that generational knowledge on to my son. I've heard a lot of people in commercial, their children are involved in it now or have grown through the years and gotten into it, and I think that might be his niche, it might not, but teaching him the entrepreneurial way and how to understand business. With him selling those chicks, we're teaching him not just, just sell the chicks and you have cash, right? you keep track of your sales, and you know, this is how much you're spending on feed and all these things. So I think passing that down generationally, just like Carrie did with his son Michael, you know, there's a lot of pride in that, right?
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, architecture is a big thing for me as well. Yeah. So you mentioned just being on boards and different things like that. So how long? So we're gonna plug NALCOM for a bit. So how long have you been a member of NALCOM?
Yeah, so I joined last year, so I would be a rookie with NALCOM. And we're having a rookies meeting today. That's why we're here. Little plug to the rookies. But yeah, NALCOM, you know, I heard about it and saw the potential in it to be part of it. And I love getting to know my peers. Yolanda was actually the first person I met, y'all. So I don't know if she knows that.
I didn't.
I know Joe Cobb and a couple other people, but Yolanda was I met you at Prohibition in Town Madison there, and wonderful person, was very sweet, and yeah, of course. And I feel like NALCOM's a great place to connect with peers, because I have learned, I mean, I can't even tell you how much I've learned in this last year from so many people in the commercial industry. We've got a lot of seasoned agents, a lot of people you hear of in town, your bankers, like I said, we're here at Merit Bank. That's somebody I met through NALCOM. So I just think expanding on that, and not only that, we have like our rookies meeting like today, where we're going to be hearing all about industrial, and funny enough, I'm showing 3 industrial properties today after the rookies meeting, so maybe I'll have some little
good questions.
tidbits. Yeah. Absolutely. I think, you know, if you can join associations, just get involved. You know, the great Scott McLean told me, actually he told a group of us at a NALCOM meeting that the more boards you can sit on, the more things you can get involved in. You know, those are things that are going to shape and mold you as an agent, and help you not just build your client base, but learn and grow as an agent. And I think it's important to do that, and that's definitely why I joined NALCOM, and will continue to stay on NALCOM.
She just stole my next question, y'all. Why did she join?
Yeah.
Okay, and you also answer how your career has benefited. Yeah, you stole all my questions.
Just covering it all.
Yeah, she knows it. She gave tips and advice. You got to get involved from Mr. Scott McLean. So what is your biggest professional achievement?
So for me, you know, I think getting my real estate license, honestly, I had my whole life, like I said, since I started talking about investments and told my parents they should buy this house as an investment. I mean, my mom was like, I don't know, it's, you know, you hear about singers, right? Like they start singing at a young age, like Taylor Swift, Tay-Tay. My husband loves her, okay? But I think, you know, it's kind of similar to that. Like, you have singers start at a young age, it's obvious they can sing. Well, for me, it was obvious, like, real estate was my niche. So, you know, for me, I just, that's really been my achievement. So 3 years ago, I lost my dad, and the last conversation we had where he was able to talk was, hey Dad, I'm gonna get my license. He knew it was something I was considering, and he was like, you know what, just do it. Like, just, you're gonna be great at it, just do it. And so right after he passed, I got my license, and it's just been awesome ever since. It's been a snowball, and it's been amazing.
Snowball is the right word.
It has. I mean, Huntsville, like I said, is nonstop, and I have a lot of great people here, and I think everybody, when I got my license, the amount of feedback I got, you're gonna be very successful at this. I think that's affirmation to me that I'm in the right place. Yeah. Right. So that definitely my greatest achievement. Probably second to that was getting a full ride scholarship. I used to play softball. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay. So what career advice? No, we talked about that. Scott McLean.
Yeah.
Did you have another one? What career advice do you live by, and who gave it?
So going back to my dad, he was always, both my parents were very hard workers. I had great mentors growing up. I saw how hard they worked, and I mean, my mom probably works 80 hours a week. She's in law, so you know how that goes. Stay busy doing all that research. But for me, I think, you know, he always told me never to stop dreaming, and I think that was really important. And I've always kind of instilled that on other folks, is, you know, never stop having goals, never stop having, you know, things that you want to work towards. And he was my dad, but he had a very successful career himself. He used to play for the Boston Red Sox. So he just was very driven, as am I, and just have always had that passion to do more. I don't think I'll ever stop growing. I don't think I'll ever stop learning. I'll probably work till the day I die. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just who I am. And that came from them, you know, good parents.
Right. Look, now I want to ask about the baseball. You know,
Yeah.
was he an inspiration for you to get into baseball?
So he played farm league. If you're familiar with the baseball scene, he didn't go all the way to the show, but he was close. He hurt his shoulder. So both my sister and I was a pitcher, she was a catcher, she also pitched, but he was also a pitcher.
Okay.
So if you know baseball, you know all the different positions and things like that. I was also a big hitter. That was, if you're familiar with the cleanup hitter, people that drive in runs, hit home runs.
I'm from St. Louis.
Yes.
Baseball town.
Hitting
I know a
grand
little bit.
Yeah, that first Grand Slam's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I'm not talking about the breakfast, folks.
I bet it is.
He coached me my whole life, and I actually think him coaching me taught me a lot, because he taught me not to listen to all the chatter. And as a pitcher, you have a lot of people chiming in at you, and I think, you know, teaching me how to focus and teaching me how to drive and be disciplined, and that's really what sports did for me. But yeah, he was a very well-rounded coach. Coached both my sister and I. We both got full ride scholarships, so I think that's a testament to how hard he made us work.
I love it though.
Yes, but I loved it too. I enjoyed it for a long time, and I think when you get to the point when you're done with it, that's when I shifted to, okay, what's my next step going to be? And that's my career. And that's when I really started focusing on the apartment industry and real estate and all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of like prepared me for that.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So if you could collaborate with anyone, who would it be and why?
Okay, so for me, I love collaborating with developers, mainly because I am very creative minded. I have lots of ideas. I think, you know, any developers that are looking to come to Huntsville, or are already in Huntsville. I mean, I love working with local folks. I think our generation has a lot of great ideas on how to make the city a fun and interesting place. And I think just working with a developer that has those same kind of, you know, ideas is a great thing.
We can keep going. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We have a little waiting area out here.
Yeah.
Is that fine?
That's fine.
Yeah, they can give us about 10 minutes. We'll
Yeah, we'll get
Thank
it.
you. I'll cut that out.
That's fine.
And I only have a few more. I even when I looked at the time, I was like, ooh, where is going on? But this is so amazing. Yours is good. 13 minutes. Okay. So what do you love most about your job?
What do I love most? You know, I really love working, like we talked about before, working with people and seeing their businesses grow. I love my clients. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just how rewarding it is when you help a client find a space and then you watch their business flourish. I think that's definitely what drives me to continue doing this. I love real estate. I think learning every day, I think I learn something every day. I really do. I don't think there's a day that's gone by where I haven't said, oh, I learned something new today, or I learned something new about Huntsville. I love learning like the history of Huntsville. Like if y'all have history buff people, please tell me. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna move in a little bit about you. So what are you currently binge watching?
So I like buying Beverly Hills and selling Sunset, like many folks in the real estate industry. That is not how I got into the real estate industry, but I love luxury real estate. Like I said, architecture. I think the cool thing about those two shows is they show so many new products, so many high-end products, and you know, aside from all the drama of the shows,
Right.
it's an interesting thing to watch, you know, to see Los Angeles and the builds that are going on out there. And you know, you see a lot of products coming here now, like these kind of builds that are beautiful, and a lot of the inspiration came from things like that. You know, you've got Constellation downtown. The architect that designed that was from Miami. So I think, you know, watching these shows in other places and getting ideas from those shows, even though it is reality TV at the end of the day, you're still learning things, right?
There's a little bit of overlap. Some of it is real.
I do like documentaries mostly. I'm like a History Channel person for sure. Like, I just think like learning things is better than
Yeah, I
watching
love a good
trash
documentary.
TV.
Yeah, we gotta have a little bit of drama in it, but
Yeah.
I love a good documentary.
I don't want the drama, but I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, I don't want no smoke in my real life.
Exactly.
I will, let me watch from afar and laugh.
Yeah.
No.
I don't want the tea about me.
No, I don't want to get singed by the fire.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's the favorite place you've traveled? What's your most favorite place you've traveled?
So my hands down, Paris, France. Oh my gosh, so amazing! It was the only thing on my bucket list really that I was like, I have to go there. Got to do that at a pretty young age, in my 20s. Beautiful, beautiful city. Again, the architecture, y'all. It's just, oh my goodness. And I love when I see product in Huntsville that has that look to it, that kind of European look, like the federal courthouse we toured with NALCOM.
Yes.
That architecture is beautiful. The limestone, the granite, just the intricate details of the European architecture. That I love it, and just also the walkability of the city. It's beautiful. A lot of fine dining, a lot of art. The Louvre is beautiful. Obviously, the Eiffel Tower. Everybody knows that. Very high up.
Did you go up?
I did.
Yeah, I did too.
I was like, oh, look at that.
That's
yeah, it's beautiful.
amazing.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's a
really
beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful place.
When you get there, and I'm from St. Louis, so we have the arch,
Yeah.
but you're still amazed. You know something is huge.
Yeah.
But then when you see it in person, you're like, oh
Yeah,
wow.
it doesn't do it justice
No,
in the pictures. So you
not at
stand
all.
there and you look up and you're like, wow. And then when you go to the top and you look down, the people are this big. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess for people like us that like architecture and
The Sears
history.
Tower.
Yeah, when you go to Europe, you're just in heaven.
It
I
is.
love
It's
all the
beautiful.
castles and just the history.
Yep.
They don't just tear things down and
Exactly.
build it because
Yeah,
you know
they
it's
just
the
keep-
latest thing.
Revitalizing it, you know, and
So that's another thing I love about Huntsville is going to the historical areas and seeing things
Yes.
that's still there and it's still
Yeah.
beautiful.
yes,
It
like
may
Franklin
not-
Street.
Yeah, it may
Yeah.
not be as modern. You're not going to have all the electrical plugs and the bathroom's going to be small,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful.
I love the
It still
history
is
of it.
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what is your favorite memory?
My favorite memory, definitely, my dad and I spending time together, whether it was fishing down in Marco Island or going to the farm with my grandpa, going to sports games down in Miami. We had season tickets to quite a few of he used to be a rep down there and work with like the Miami Hurricanes, the Dolphins, the Miami Heat. That was cool. I used to go, he'd take me, there used to be this thing called like take your kid to work day.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of what I do with,
Right.
that's what I do with Colt. I just don't get permission.
I still have that though.
So I think that was like the greatest memory for me was like getting to go around with him. I remember walking on the Miami Heat court and meeting Manute Bol, who was like 20 feet tall, and me as a kid looking up and like as tall as the Eiffel Tower, right? Like just so interesting and so many memories from going around with him, whether it was, you know, recreationally or business. I think that he really was a huge influence on my life and I think will always continue to be. And yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so what is the best restaurant that you've been to?
So, talking about Paris, France, there's a little restaurant there called La Petite Châtelet, I believe it is. It's right across from Notre Dame, and it's beautiful. It's right on the river. Best French onion soup I've ever had. That's definitely one of my favorite things. And there's so many restaurants there that we ate at that I just was like blown away, you know. I'm a huge restaurant. I like food.
Okay.
Who doesn't,
You're a
right?
foodie.
Can't tell.
How do you stop?
I do love food. I love cooking. But yeah, I really enjoyed. I've never had such a rich tasting food. European food in general, you know, like Italian, Greek, any of that. You know,
Fresh ingredients.
French food. I mean, all of it. I just think it's so good. So. Yeah, if you're ever in Paris, France, hit up La Petite.
There you go. There you go. So, what is something about you, a fun fact that not many people know?
Well, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but I was a softball pitcher for a long time, and I think I don't think I tell a lot of people about that. It doesn't come up very often anymore. Or about my dad. That is an interesting fun fact about him. But yeah, I think like a lot of people, like your childhood stuff or whatever kind of gets pushed aside in your career, and then people are like, oh, you did what?
Yeah. We're thinking about the most latest and greatest thing that we've done.
Yeah.
I guess, but then at some age you start reaching back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that stuff
Exactly.
seems more interesting.
Yes, it
as
is
well.
interesting though, like where people come from. I like learning about where people started and, you know, where their careers progressed, and like you said, that well-rounded thing. I mean, you know, I've worked at vets, I've worked at surgery centers, I've this is a long time ago, but now in the real estate realm, you know, all that stuff plays a factor, and yeah.
I have a feeling you're gonna start selling farms pretty soon. Sorry, y'all.
I know, my husband's he's like, you can't do everything.
Yes,
But
you
yes.
can. Yes, you can.
I would love to sell farms. I think ranches, I would love to own a ranch someday. So yeah, absolutely. I think going out and looking at farms, which I've got some clients that have farms, and so
I figured.
you know they don't want to sell them, but
Right, don't start calling
they're
her.
holding on to them for now.
We are at the end of our video. We're about to get kicked out of the room, so the rookies can come in. If you guys didn't hear, they're knocking at the door. I mean, I could have just gone on and on and on learning more about Kristin. I had no idea I was the first person that she met. Now I'm just kind of like, what did I say? Was I too much?
She's great, y'all. I promise.
Okay,
You make me feel really welcome to NALCOM. I'll just say that. Everybody did. It was a great night.
good.
I met quite a few people that night and saw some people I knew, but yeah, you were the first one in the door that I met. And,
Oh.
yeah, I appreciate that.
So now I'm always on the welcome committee.
There you go.
Hey y'all, it's just me. That's that Midwestern.
I understand.
The Midwestern
Appreciate
part about me, and then cosmetologist. Like
Yeah.
I can be in a room, and if somebody looks lost, I'll be the one that
Yes.
comes up, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" Because I
That's
know
the
you're
best way to
new.
be. Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Did I do that?
Hey, you came right up to me. I was like, oh,
It's like she looks lost. She doesn't know
Just walked
anybody.
in, didn't know anybody, and she was the first one up to me.
You
so
can see
absolutely.
that look. You can
Yeah.
see that look in people's
Everybody.
face where they're trying to find a familiar face.
Yep.
And I'm really big on, first, you guys know, I'm a big networker, and I'm really big on how people make me feel when I walk into a room.
Absolutely.
If I'm going into a space where it's about collaborating and networking and welcoming people, and you don't acknowledge me,
Yeah.
this is not the right place for me.
Yeah.
So for me, that is always
Yeah.
important when I'm in that
Absolutely.
role.
Make people feel comfortable.
I have to make
welcome.
people feel
Absolutely.
comfortable and welcome
Yeah.
because we
Absolutely.
want you here. We're not
Absolutely.
here to ignore you. We're on the board, so we know who's a regular member and who
Yes.
is not.
Yes. I do go out of my way to, same with the chamber, you know, being a lead
Yeah.
ambassador is the same way, you know, it's like, I remember the first time walking in the room at the chamber and not knowing a single soul. I was new to Huntsville, didn't know anybody, and now I can walk in the room and I know so many people. But I also see a lot of different faces, and same with NALCOM. I've seen a lot of people joining lately that I've never met, and I think, you know, those are, like I said, lifelong peers that hopefully, you know, we'll all grow together in this industry and share each other's successes.
There you have it. So I will let you close out. If you can give people information on how they can contact you, whether that be telephone, email, social media. I don't give out my phone number, but you guys can Google me. So I don't. So everybody's a little different. So if you can let everyone know how they can contact you, how they can follow you, and learn more about you.
So I'm on Facebook, Kristin Milam Realtor. Also Instagram at Kristin Milam Realtor. LinkedIn's a big one for me. I'm very well connected on LinkedIn, so please send me a message on there. You can send me a message on Facebook too. I won't give out my phone number just because I don't want much crazy calls.
You
right?
can find me, but
You never know who's going to call you off the internet, folks.
Right.
But yeah, just reach out to me on social media or call our office. You can find Rosenblum Realty on the web and just reach out, and I'd be happy to help you. I would love to bring you on as a client. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.